Alright, everybody. So, okay. So, does everybody have chairs? They're all sitting down and everyone's comfortable with the chair of choice? Okay, ready to be attentive, listen, look, and learn. And do also. Okay, so let me shut the door here. Thank you all for taking the time and the integrity and the effort to come up here for a redo of the video. Now, you all paid 20 grand for this experience, I want to say, for this, for these lessons, and I promise you it'll be worth it because we have a lot of things to talk about and uncover and probably, go over in review if you learn all this stuff in Escuela. And maybe you'll come across things or concepts or ways of doing things that, like problems that you never heard of or you never, thought you could do this way, or you may learn something new here. So welcome to Math Lessons. Today we're going to be doing arithmetic as of all of the lessons that we're going to be doing, including a little bit of geometry and a little bit of algebra, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we might encompass, but I'll tell you if we come across another thing. But that's basically what we're going to be learning about. We're going to be writing down and studying here. Okay? So I'm going to be the teacher, and let me just give you a little bit into the history, because way back when I was younger, I was, less mature, and silly, and, I didn't know the math concepts as well as I do now. And all of those videos, and I'm adding new things onto all of those videos, but I did 4 videos of mathematics, math lessons, and they were, like, one of them was, all of them were the content that we're going to be getting in here, but so they were individual with 1 to 2 to 3 skills on each one, and my math was not really, really good, and I kind of made not sense of myself, and also, I kind of got a little of the facts wrong. But now I am older, and I'm ready for the very, very first video, and the very, very first take back to those wonderful golden days, and a repetition and a redemption of all the adventures that I made and had. And this is the first one. Although, it wouldn't be necessarily called an adventure, but okay. So, this is the side of the board that we're going to be using to solve all of the problems. Okay, so it's the blank side of the board. Okay, and then, oh, and also, one thing, as I'm writing down, I have some sheets of lined and blank paper back there, okay, in a pile, in 2 separate piles. I also have some calculators, a pencil sharpener, a pencil, multiplication charts, which is those charts that, you help solve that and division, which we're going to be doing here. All those computational things as well. but we'll get into it in just a second. And also clipboards over there, clipboards that you can use to put your paper on. That way, it's hard to wipe the paper and then have it sitting on the ground on your lap or whatever. So I want you to help yourself, all of you, okay, to one of those things. One pencil, one piece of either regular white or line paper. Make sure the pencil's sharpened. Grab a multiplication chart if you need it, and then grab a clipboard. And if there's another tool that you might need along the way, then I'll shout it out to you. But that's all I can think of for now. I'm spontaneous. I am not a structured out type person. So I just think of things now, and then and then think of things later. Or before, details that I probably should have added in, to make it more thorough, get those points across. And I forget, and I add those in, whatever to make up for it, or whatever. So I'm thinking of things to say right now, but I might think of something to say, for example, maybe later. And I might forget to say it now, but I will say it later. And if I forget to do something now, then I'll do it later. That's just how it's going to work. And I'm not going to be hearing any complaints, any criticisms, and any insults about that, okay? So, now without further ado, I want you to help yourself to the table. And once you have everything, I want you to be sitting down, and I know that all of you have everything when all of you sit down for about about a minute and a half, okay? So you might have to, count the seconds out in your head, and that way that I know, when all of you are going to be done. Alright. So we have a lot to go through today, a lot to go over, a lot to discover, a lot to learn, okay? And a lot for me to teach as well, and a lot for you to write down. So, if you need another piece of paper, go grab one, use the front and the back sides, sharpen your pencil when you need to. If you don't need a multiplication chart or calculator for, say, this equation, then, just put it aside. But I really want you to have all of these things and try the things that you don't, that you probably never used before, or, the things that you haven't used in a while or that you don't need. I want you to try to use them. And vice versa, use the things that you're most comfortable with at whatever time, okay? So, now, I'm going to go over the content page with you, okay? So, this is all of the stuff that we're going to be learning today. And that is going to be including... Get that out of there. Alright. Okay, one thing that I realized actually was that I did not get to even do any, intro activity, get to know your names. I didn't even think about that. Because I hardly know any of you, and I know that you all are maybe from High Minton, maybe from, say, Mrs. Toledo Talks, or Mrs. Cockpins, or Mrs., Shoots, or Bell Books, or Eskin Rules of Minton, okay? But I do not, I know I don't know really, I don't know Mrs. Cockpen or Mrs. Talea Talk very well. I don't know those Libimbies, but I do know Eskinroll, I know Bellbook, I know Thing, Tenson, and Shoop. Those are all the ones that I have good set of knowledge about, and that I am very close to, and um, and I just know them best because I communicate and I call them or I have meetings with them. I do talk with them, so we're pretty close and connected to each other. But with the other Libimbis, like Cockpen and Talea Talk, I don't know that well. And I don't know Mrs. Glooney very well either. So raise your hand. I just want you in here to raise your hand if you are from Mrs. Eskinroll's Menton, or also known as Libimbi Grois. Okay, quite a few of you. Yeah, her Menton is the biggest Menton because she is the leader of the whole thing. She is the head of all of the Mentons after all. She was the one who started it. So she is most famous. She is the queen of it all. And her Menton is way down south in Arizona, where it's hot and dry and desert-like. But yet, we have special cars and things to whisk us back, like really speedy, to the Menton headquarters from one part of the U.S. or world to another part of it. So, there's so much that I could tell you about the Menton. There's so much, so many things, like unbelievable theories or tech things, but I don't want to waste the time going through all of that information. It's just really innovative, it's unpredictable, it's very special and fascinating and very unique. I'm sure that you're all dying and craving for those resources. I'm sure that you are. So, alright. So what I want you to do is to be able for me to know your first and last name. You just put your first name, okay? That's not, your last name isn't really necessary. So, actually, okay, and this is why I said that it would be spontaneous. I want you all to grab a sticky note, okay, on, in that pile of sticky notes, it's like a green and yellow sticky note from the table over there. I have like 2 or 3 piles or 4, I don't know. So what I want you to do, take a sticky note, write your name, write your first name down, then I want you to stick it on your shirt, unless you can put it on your shirt and then write it down, okay, so that way I can see exactly whose name it is without me having to remember, because I don't know any of you just looking at the sticky note writing on your shirts. Okay, so stick it on your shirt. Okay, but you already know my name, Truffy Truck. So actually do that. Okay, pen, pencils, all those type things, even colored pencils or crayons, all the tools are on the table over there. So I've given you a lot of different options of tools that you can use. Alright, so, okay. Some of them for writing, some of them for solving problems. It's my table of tools over there. My table of helping. The table of tools, as I call it. Okay, so, wonderful. Now that I can see who all of your names are going to be. Okay, now, we could take all the time in the world to introduce ourselves, but how about we save that till after we're done with everything, okay? And then we could have, fun, intro. Go around the room and talk about ourselves. what we like to do, what we just like to do, all those things. So, blank side of the board. Now, the concept that we're going to be learning about today is there's quite a bit of things that we're going to be learning today. I might not get through it all. But one of them is going to be geometry lines, line segments, never-ending lines, beginning of a line and never-ending, or all of those type things, okay? And then right angles, looking at the angles and degrees, well, not really the degrees, I'm not skilled in that area, but looking at right angles and also looking at different shapes, which is very, very elementary, and also, the different shapes and how many sides they have, okay? Number charts, which are charts that are going to be, which we're going to look at how to say, and how to read big numbers. Okay, that'll be more, way when we look at place value. But add-on, what we're going to do is, we're going to do number charts, and, those are rule, and then you have numbers down the sides, and you take those numbers down the sides, and follow that rule, like, say, times 3 or whatever, and then you put it down, on the other, like, there's 2 columns, and you put it down the other column. Well, you'll see. Okay, and then factor trees, which takes one number and says the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division ways of equations to solve for that number. And we'll go over the basics here in a second. Actually, right now, we might go over that now. So remember, we'll get into integers later. Wait, this is not even working. So, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. So adding, you're getting more. Subtraction, you're getting lower. The addition, you're getting higher, okay? And then multiplication, you're getting super duper high. And then division is taking one part of the equation for multiplication and then taking the answer, and it's kind of like another form of addition. So technically, though, but just taking one number and then having the answer of it, the answer would be a lesser number than the number of the multiplication. So addition and multiplication are linked together because they're both getting higher in number. And then subtraction and division are linked because they're getting lower. Okay, so you should all know those types of things. So factor trees, and also solving big numbers like multi-digit, subtraction, addition, multiplication, and division. Place value, which is going to be interlinked with that as well. You're going to see how that's going to kind of play out here. So place value, we're going to look at that, and it's all going to make sense, like ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and we even place for all the numbers, all the digits in that one number. Integers, which including like positive and negative numbers, and also what they mean and how to solve very simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division integer problems, not multi-digit. And then inverse operations is going to be including some algebra with a variable and and a sign, and then an equation, just a regular equation. Fractions, should you all know what fractions look like. We're going to look at real examples of fractions, like how they look, just real life scenarios, and also fractions. We're also going to look at how to add and then subtract fractions, and maybe we'll get to multiplication. We really don't know, but that'll be it for today. Less than, greater than, or equal to, looking at two numbers and comparing them, and then decimals. 5 and above, give it a shove, 4 and below, leave it alone, kind of thing. So you should all know what those should look like visually. So this is all the stuff that we're going to be going through, okay? I just want to overview that real quickly. So let's start at the very beginning of the list with lines and geometry. And just so you know, there will be an intermission between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right after integers, there will be a break for you all. So this will go by very, very quickly. I know it looks like a lot of content, but we're going to buzz right through this. It's going to take no time at all. So let's start with geometry. Let's begin with some geometry, which is lines and angles and degrees and all that kind of thing. So let's take a look at some basic lines. So I'm going to kind of quiz you as we're going through this. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit closer so that you can see this. Okay, so I want you to tell me, and for those of you, you can also sit on the couch as well. I'm not going to forbid you from sitting on the couch, because that's why it's there. Otherwise, what is the purpose of it being there if you're not allowed to sit on it? So, please, 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 sit on it. Makes it used, okay? Wait, it's not just sitting there, no one's using it. So, actually, if some of you people want to sit on the couch, or a hassock, or you put your legs up against the hassock, then you can do so. Okay? Now, I'm going to, I don't know if you can see that, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and more pronounced so that you can see what we're looking at here, because I don't know if you can see that way up there when, okay. So, actually, let me just put that over there. So, now, can all of you see this? Can all of you see it? Every one of you can see this right up here. I want you looking at the board here. Okay? Now, can somebody tell me what kind of line this is? What kind of line is it? Yes. Mike. Alright. Excellent. So this is a line. Also, integers. We're going to look at the number line. Segment. Line segment. A segment means part. So part of a line. Just a portion of it. Just a little bit of it. Not the full throttle line. Okay, in a line segment. So this is just a part of a really, really huge line. And you have these dots here, on each end, on this end and that end, on the left end and right end. And that means that that there was a starting point. The starting point is always, starting point, ending point. You can see here, because let's go, like you're reading a book, from left to right. So just across that way. So a starting point, okay, a segment as a starting point, and then when you see the dot, when you see one dot over here, one dot over there, it has a starting point, and this is how long the line is, and the dot symbolizes the ending point for that line. So it does not go on forever. It starts here, and then here's the, and just this segment, and then that's the end of that segment of the line. Apparently the full line has these little dots in it, and this is just a segment. Just a part of that line, the beginning, ending part of the segment. Okay, so we're going to do another line, and I want you to tell me what this line is. Okay. So as I was telling you about what I'm trying to do here, so one of the videos was line segments, and it also was right angles, and also story problems, which are probably going to fit in there as well. Then the next segment, that was number charts. Then it was factor trees and long digit, and then the fourth segment, ballpark estimates, and then place value. So that was what it was. But we're going to make this a lot more thorough. And I said that I would put it over there. Okay. So this is called a line segment, and I realized that I did not erase that good enough. Okay. Let me just put that on the couch still. Okay. So, who can tell me what this is? What this line is? Okay, it looks like this. And actually, I'm going to make another one down here. This marker's running out of its juice, so I should probably get another one. Okay. So, those two... Wait. That looks like a little dot. We don't want that. Okay. So, alright. So, who can tell me what that is? Yes. Okay. So, it is the beginning of a line. Okay? The line segment that we looked at can either be just a part of a really, really big line, or, of the full line, or it could be a really, really small line with a starting point and ending point. That's what these little dots symbolize. Okay, so, these little fill-in dots. So, those two lines, it looks like an equal sign with like two dots on the end of the left side of it, but I just wanted to write it out again a little bit lower so that you can see here. So, these two dots represent the beginning of officially the line, or the line segment. Okay? But as you're looking, okay, so here's the starting points right here, and I think that we're gonna go, I might confuse you a little bit, might go left to right, and then right to left, but let's just do, left to right. So this is, it's typically left to right. So, the starting points are here. We have the line, the straight line, but unlike the last one, there was a starting point and an ending point on the left and the right side of the line. But over here, you realize that there's no dots on the on the ending of the right side of the lines. So there's none of these dots over here. There is over here at the beginning of the line or the line segment, but when there is no dots over there, that means that the line just keeps going on forever. Maybe has an ending point at some time, but it just goes on and on and on. Or that line segment goes on and on and on. So it begins the line, but it doesn't finish the line. It's the beginning of the line, and then the line does not end here. Okay, it just keeps going on. And a way to look at this is by drawing the arrow. Arrow is, this. Okay, I need to change markers because this one's dying out on me. So, this arrow, as you know, an arrow that looks like this goes forward this way, so forward in the right direction. An arrow that looks like this goes left. And don't tell, in these things, like, this little thing, less than, greater than signs, but you really have to look at the straight line of an arrow to determine with what side this little sign right here, this sign goes in on what side of the line it is. So if it's on the right side of just a straight line, it's going right. If it's on the left side, it's going left. I want to look at that on the the integer number line, and also less than or greater than. So this would obviously be the greater than. So this would be known as a greater than arrow. So greater than arrow. Write this down to help you writing everything down. And noting everything. Arrow. Okay. And then this would be the less than arrow. Because this would usually be, going right is increasing, going left is decreasing. So less than, this would be the less than sign, this would be the greater than sign, because, as you can see, it is, this one looks like, if I had to draw, an arrow can't look like this, or it can't look like that. The line has to go into the little mouth of an arrow. So, with that, you can tell by knowing that this arrow right here goes left, this one goes right, less than, and then greater than. Less than here, greater than there, as you can tell by the little arrows. So this right here, I want to circle right there, and you see what I circled? So this is the mouth of an arrow, okay? And then this is that was not a really good